Andrew Cherico here, joined by Nick Williams in the bounce house for the Sons of UCF. Brought to you by Latavius Murray's Knights 24/7. Nick, space game magic no more. The Knights lose their first space game in program history, dropping it to Houston 30-27. But Nick, it felt like the space game magic was there the entire time, all the way until the final play. Coach Frost said in the presser, Taven Jackson came out because he was dealing with a hamstring injury. Davie Belfort comes in, chance to be a space game legend, goes out there scrambling, making plays, getting hit, but getting right back up, all the way to the final play. Coach Frost said he didn't want to settle for three. They forced the ball into the end zone, ends up being picked, Nick. That ends the space game streak. What did you see?
Well, you said a lot of things that I would hit on myself. Number one being the magic feels lost. And also for some of the younger generations out there, the aura of this game going into next season may not be there. But like you said, Andrew, it felt forced. It felt like that ball went straight to Kentrell Webb from Houston. And whenever you are trying to force the ball, that's the outcome. When a game could have went into OT, and we were on the field, we saw everyone in this stadium just get electrified with Davie Belfort out there rooting for him to be the space game legend that he could have been, and then that's the outcome of the game. But Andrew, on a brighter side of this entire thing, 3 picks from Philip Dunham, which is a program record. What are you seeing out there from the defense tonight, and what did Coach Frost have to say about that?
Nick, the defense did everything they possibly could have tonight, and they made some sacrifices along the way. So many injuries, but they played their heart out all the way to the end, gave the team a fighting chance. And you mentioned Philip Dunham is a space game legend now for recording 3 interceptions in a space game, most in program history in general. One of them was for a pick 6. It just hurts to see when a team that struggled to create turnovers all season, and they emphasize it, they finally get that done. The offense can't reciprocate the energy and ends up in a loss. And for Coach Frost, they just need to execute better.
For sure. West Virginia beat them last week. It was 4 turnovers by Houston. We got the same thing. Now we threw a pick 6, and that kind of negated one. And then there at the end, man, this is not an excuse. We're beat up. Jaden McDonald's out, and Malachi's out, and Nigel Leake's not in there some, and Braden Marshall's out, and Miles is out. That's a lot of our guys. And we leaned on the defense pretty heavy tonight with some 3 and outs and putting our defense back on the field. And, we would have liked to have been ahead when we had a 10-point lead right before half. If you come back out and after halftime and have that lead, and maybe we can run it and grind them out. And I think they did that to us at the end of the game.
No, we just didn't capitalize. We just kind of shot ourselves in the foot, like I've said again, and just weren't able to move the ball downfield, so that hurt a little bit. But I had so much trust in our defense, and those guys are absolute ballers, and to go against them every single day, I had so much trust in those guys, and you saw 3 freaking picks and a pick 6. Those guys held it down, so trust in them, they trust in us. So, we're still holding our heads up high in that standpoint that we're not going to back down, and we're going to keep fighting our butts off.
It's a giant, but, giants can be conquered too. So it's just how we're going to show up this week, you know what I mean? How we're going to clean up our mistakes, especially offensively. What are we going to do to get ourselves going, going into the game or coming out of the half and stuff like that. It's just finding what we can do a little bit better. We see teams lose, any given Saturday, any given Friday, Thursday, whatever the case may be. So we just got to go out there, handle our business, clean ourselves up, and get going.
Yeah, it's very disappointing. Phil Dunham had a great game. Like I said, it's disappointing. And I feel like defense played a pretty good game, but we got a few things we got to just go back and attack this week.
Nick, the Knights were up by 10 twice in this game, and it felt like every time they had a chance to pull away, Houston just came back crawling in. Every time the Knights threw a punch, Houston came back punching harder, and especially towards the end of the game where the Knights had an opportunity to win, and they got that interception. Nick, you were with Houston's side of things at the postgame. What did you learn from them?
Well, it definitely felt like a boxing match out there, Andrew. And for head coach Willie Fritz, he knew that his guys had the fight in them. But for the most part, he wanted to make a big comment on the atmosphere here. Space U game, he absolutely loved it. And for Kentrell Webb, who had that game-winning interception, he loved it as well, but he had to say that these two teams felt like they were evenly matched. And from each punch going at one another, it did really feel like that the entire way. Now, for quarterback Connor Wegman, on the other hand, he had to say that, those 3 interceptions of Phillip Dunham, he just has to stop throwing them to him. That was his only comment on that. But one thing that did remain the same, Andrew, throughout all the interviews that I went through tonight was they believe that they are the real Space City.
The kids just really, really played hard. I saw that from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. I challenged them all week. Hey, man, we need to come out and play with physicality. I thought we did, and we made enough plays to win. So I'm just very, very, very proud of the effort they put forth. Hey, this is a hostile environment and loud. It's one of the loudest places I've played at, and I thought our guys overcame it. So great job by everybody.
Yeah, they were playing good. They were disguising stuff well, and I can't turn the ball over. I mean, that's 2 weeks in a row, and can't happen. That's on me, and then I got to get better and learn from that. And can't turn the ball over, plain and simple. I threw the ball to them.
We know they were a good team. I feel like we were evenly matched across the board. They have some good receivers, good quarterback, good run game. I mean, pretty much overall. So number 7 was one of their best receivers. They tried to get him the ball a lot, try to get the ball around the perimeter. So we knew we were just gonna have to do our normal block, run, hit, have good eyes, and we'll get the outcome we wanted.
Well, we talked about it a little bit. That we're Space City.
I feel like, me personally, we Space City, Houston, but I don't know.
Nick, devastating loss for UCF. Speaking bigger picture on the season, they needed to avoid going 1-4 to reach bowl game eligibility. Huge missed opportunity against Houston, and now the road that lies ahead of them. They need to go against and win at least 2 against 2 top 10 ranked teams in the Big 12 on the road. How tough of a challenge is this going to be, Nick?
Well, it's clearly a challenge because UCF has yet to win a Big 12 road game, and now they're going to have to go against BYU and Texas Tech, who also play this weekend, and it's going to be a top 10 matchup for them too. So as far as it goes for UCF, they are playing Oklahoma State at home, which will be the last home game of the season, and a lot of UCF fans believe that's winnable. But Andrew, you and I have been watching UCF this entire season. It feels like they're so close, yet so far. And a part of that comes in time with also the injuries. Now, Andrew, there was a lot of injuries that happened in this Houston game. So what were you able to see and hear about these injuries post-game?
Yeah, Nick. Coach Frost didn't want to talk too much on the injuries, and we're going to wait to hear more information. But some of the significant injuries that we know about: Nigel Lee Kelly, Malachi Lawrence, Miles Montgomery, Jaden McDonald, and Braden Marshall. Nick, what stands out to me most about those injuries is the running back room. We already know Stacey Gage and Tavion Swint are out for the season. If Miles Montgomery goes down for any significant period of time, it's going to rely solely on Jaden Nixon. And we know he's fast and he's elusive. But how much can he take, especially as the main running back? Nick, it's going to be a tough challenge ahead. You can be sure to find more coverage on Latavius Murray's Knights 24/7, where we're doing recruiting beat, talking to recruits about their experience at the UCF versus Houston Space game, as well as Latavius Murray's thoughts on the game, and more analysis from talented writers. For Nick Williams, I'm Andrew Cherico for the Sons of UCF.